Like, how would you feel minding your own business, trying to buy a Mr. Softy's vanilla rainbow sprinkled ice cream cone, and then suddenly you're being assaulted from someone that you don't even know or why? Asian hate. What the actual stupid is wrong with these people? What the heck is going on? Now, this is something I should have talked about a long time ago. It's tough for me to communicate how I'm feeling because honestly, there's just so many emotions going on right now. I'm pissed off, I'm frustrated, I'm disappointed. Now, if you're like, wait, what are you talking about? Well, that's part of the problem. There's just no awareness to these issues that I'm addressing, our issues. Let's talk about stopping Asian hate, because there's a lot to unpack here. To provide some context, there's been a huge surge of racially charged crimes towards people of Asian descent. You got these individuals, actually pieces of shit, throwing racial slurs, bullying, pushing, shoving them onto train tracks, slashing, mass shootings even. A bunch of horrible acts of violence. There was an NBC article stating a 150% increase in Asian hate crimes in this year alone, totaling about 3,800 incidents. And of these incidents, over 60% of the victims were the Asian elderly and women. But here's the thing, it's definitely way more than that because a lot of them go unreported. A lot of them go unreported. Like, where was this in 2020, in 2019? Years before? It's only now that it seems like the media cares, the people care, but it's just not enough. Now, why is this happening? I think people are insecure with their lives that they want to blame and put Asian people as scapegoats for why they're so miserable. Like blaming all Asians for bringing the pandemic, but it's not even Asians spreading them. It's anyone who doesn't follow the safety protocols. Whatever the reason, there's no excuse for any of this. It's absurd and stupid. Like, these Asian people did nothing to you, so why are you taking it out on them? Like, how would you feel minding your own business, trying to buy a Mr. Softy's vanilla rainbow sprinkled ice cream cone, and then suddenly you're being assaulted from someone that you don't even know or why? Being judged for what you look like, the color of your skin, your culture, your background, etc., etc. This is happening everywhere. Nowhere is safe, not even my own neighborhood. The fact that I have to convince my mom to not take the subway for fear of getting assaulted should already tell you how out of control this is getting. And my mom has dealt with her fair share of racism way before 2021. But she kept it to herself, even today. Asian culture, we were taught to just work hard and avoid trouble, just kind of sweep it under the rug. But the problem is that by continuing to avoid these incidents and not address them will make these hate crimes continue to happen. And a couple of things I want to address too. One, we are not your model minority. Like, what is that supposed to mean? It's such a racist term used to divide other ethnic groups. Another thing that I hear is that we're not allowed to complain because our issues are not the same or as severe as others. Like, so are you saying that the NYC Filipino man getting slashed with no one helping him is not severe? Are you saying that the San Francisco elderly man getting shoved to his death in his own home is not serious? Are you saying that the Atlanta spa mass shooting of 8 people isn't important, 6 of whom were Asian women with families of their own, traumatized that they don't have a mother? That isn't important? Asian lives matter, but this doesn't mean that all lives don't matter. Rather, this is to bring to attention that Asian lives matter too. By saying all lives matter, you are undermining the importance of Asian lives. If all lives do matter, why does it seem like Asian lives are being targeted more than ever before? Now, personally, I've been lucky to grow up with little to no racism, except for one incident about a month ago. My mom and I were coming back from the 99-cent store, and when we were passing by this drunk man, he was saying a lot of very slurred speech, so it was kind of hard to comprehend what he was saying. But he was saying along the lines of, go back downtown, go back downtown. And then he proceeded to say, go back downtown, go back to Chinatown. And in my mind, I was like, you know, I should probably go to Chinatown because they have some really good food down there. But obviously that kind of takes away from the point that I'm trying to get across. And then he proceeded to pick up this, the public trash cans And then he was raising it above his head, about to throw it at me. And my mom was like, you gotta get out of there, you know, that like her facial expression was like, you gotta get out of there. So I was like, shit, you're right. But luckily he didn't throw it because there were a lot of bystanders kind of in the way of him. So he didn't really have an actual angle to throw it at me. So, I mean, I got lucky because I could have got in like a serious head injury. And yeah, I mean, it's crazy what's going on because that was like a couple blocks from where I live. I don't have any words for that incident. I mean, it definitely made me think for a couple days, like, oh shit, this is real, you know? And it's made me a little bit more cautious about even taking the subway myself. Like, I don't know, because a lot of these victims, they're of all different ages. I always have to like look back. I can't just sleep on the subway anymore. I have to be a little bit more alert. So what can we do to help? Well, this is a hot take, but the biggest issue is ourselves. And by that, I'm specifically talking about the Asian community. Stop pointing fingers at each other. Stop hating each other. Stop hating on sub-ethnic groups. Stop hating on Chinese people, Korean people, Indian people. You gotta be united and supportive of each other. It starts with educating ourselves. Like, if you didn't know, May is Asian American and Pacific Islander History Month. Education, learn about our history. Like, for example, I've been seeing the murder of Vincent Chin around, and I'm like, who is Vincent Chin? And it shows how uneducated I am because that was a major thing back in the 80s, and I didn't know about it. If you have social media, use it to your advantage. Repost, call out hate crime, call these criminals out, spread awareness. Like, there was this incident in Flushing of a man pushing an elderly woman, and it didn't get to the news until a celebrity kept reposting it. Like, the fact that it took a celebrity to bring hate crime to attention is crazy. Try to volunteer in the community. You can volunteer in neighborhood watches. You can even accompany people on their public commutes. I think it was called Safe Walks or something. You can raise money for donations. Like, what I did was I donated to a couple of GoFundMes. I also attended a rally for the first time, and it was quite a inspiring and motivating experience to, you know, stand there with like-minded people of all backgrounds who support your issues and understand those issues. And helping doesn't have to be a big thing. It can be a small thing, like being vocal, calling people out if they're being racist. Like, hey man, that's not cool, you know? Hold each other accountable. And of course, if you see something, say something. Don't just stand there with your phone filming it. Like, call 911, call for help, do something. There's so many ways to help that I haven't listed, and I have a lot to do myself. You know, we gotta hold ourselves accountable and help our communities. To those who have suffered from hate crimes, I offer my condolences. You're not alone, you are not helpless, you are not weak. You are strong. You have a voice, use it and address them. Stand up for yourself, your family, friends. You'll get through it. To everyone out there, I ask for your support. If you see something, say something. Love everyone. Stop Asian hate. To you, the viewer, let me ask you something. What's next?